Thursday in Salem is not just another day, it's a reckoning. As memories resurface and old wounds reopen, every heartbeat in Salem echoes with tension. Some try to celebrate the past, others fight to survive the present, and a few are forced to make choices that will haunt them forever. This episode isn't loud or chaotic, it's hauntingly quiet. Every look hides regret, every word feels like a confession, and every goodbye carries a weight no one is ready for. Let's break down Thursday's gripping spoilers. A day where the truth comes calling, and not everyone survives what it demands. The Horton house glows with soft light, family photos, the smell of coffee, the faint hum of nostalgia echoing through its walls. Jennifer Horton stands in the living room surrounded by Jack and Julie, her family and her history. It should be a moment of pure joy. 40 years in Salem, 4 decades of love, resilience, and survival. Julie, ever radiant and sentimental, smiles warmly. You've been through it all, Jennifer. Storms, miracles, heartbreaks, and somehow, you're still here. Still fighting. Jennifer laughs, a delicate sound that trembles like glass. Barely, she says softly, and in that single word lives an entire lifetime of pain. Jack places a hand on her shoulder, his expression caught between pride and sorrow. You make this family stronger just by being in it, he tells her, but his eyes betray the truth. Even in celebration, grief lingers like an old wound that never fully heals. On the table beside them sits a framed photo of Abigail. Her smile seems to watch over the gathering, a ghostly reminder of everything they've lost. The laughter fades. The tone shifts. Julie, unable to stay silent, brings up Chad. You've talked to him, haven't you, Jennifer? About her? The question lands heavy. Jennifer's face tightens. Jack sighs. Everyone knows who her means. Cat Green, the woman trying to love a man who still belongs to his ghosts. The conversation becomes a quiet storm of opinions. Julie's protective outrage, Jack's weary logic, Jennifer's heartbreak. For a moment, 40 years of strength feel fragile. The joy in the room dims, replaced by the truth Salem knows too well. In this town, love never lasts without loss, and every celebration comes shadowed by the past. It's a tribute wrapped in melancholy, a reminder that survival in Salem doesn't mean healing. It means learning to live with the ache. Across town, the night shift hums at the Salem Police Department. Phones ring, papers shuffle, voices rise, but for J.J. Devereaux, it's all just noise. He sits at his desk, eyes fixed on his badge. It reflects the harsh fluorescent light, polished on the outside, but what it represents feels tarnished. Theo Carver's words still echo in his head, cruel not because they were false, but because they might have been true. You don't belong here. JJ thought returning to the Force would help him rebuild himself, to prove that redemption wasn't just possible, but earned. But lately, it feels like every call he answers, every report he writes, only deepens the guilt he's been running from. The door creaks. Jada Hunter steps in, reading his exhaustion before he can hide it. She sets down a file quietly and leans against his desk. You look like someone who's been through a war, she says. JJ gives a tired smile. It feels like one. She studies him, her voice calm but firm. You can't let one man's anger erase everything you've done right. He sighs. Maybe he's not wrong. Maybe I'm just another part of the problem. The silence that follows is heavy, the kind that doesn't need words. Jada leans closer, her tone softening. JJ, you still care. That's more than most can say. Don't let this town make you forget that. He looks down again at his badge, fingers tracing the engraving. It used to mean hope. Now it feels like weight, a reminder of promises he's not sure he can keep. In Salem, some battles aren't fought with guns or crimes. They're fought in the quiet moments, when a good man questions whether goodness still matters. In JJ? He's still fighting, but for the first time, he's not sure if he wants to win. Back at the Horton house, the warmth from earlier has faded into a tense stillness. The laughter is gone. The room feels smaller, heavier. Thomas DeMera stands before his father, his small frame stiff with determination, his eyes shining with tears he refuses to let fall. The innocence in his face is at war with the pain in his voice. "Dad," he says quietly, "just tell me the truth. Are you with her?" Chad's silence is instant and devastating. He doesn't need to answer. Thomas already knows. "You said you'd never forget Mom." The boy's voice breaks, trembling under the weight of betrayal. Abigail's name hangs in the air like a ghost neither of them can escape. Chad tries to speak, but emotion clogs his throat. He kneels in front of his son, desperate to explain the unexplainable. "Thomas, I haven't forgotten. I never could. But sometimes people find ways to keep living. Kat isn't." Thomas interrupts, his voice suddenly sharp. "She's not Mom. And she never will be." The outburst echoes, raw and pure. Tears finally spill down his cheeks as he continues, "You don't get to replace her. You don't get to move on like she never mattered." Chad's heart shatters. Every defense, every justification collapses beneath the truth of his son's grief. He reaches out, but Thomas steps back. "If you really love me, Dad, let her go." The silence that follows is unbearable. The father, broken. The son, unyielding. Two hearts separated by a ghost. For a moment, Chad looks at him, and sees Abigail's eyes staring back. The same conviction, the same pain, and that's when he knows, this isn't just about love. It's about loyalty, about the impossible balance between honoring the past and surviving the present. This scene is Days of Our Lives at its rawest, where innocence forces truth, and love becomes a burden too heavy for even the strongest heart to carry. Night drapes over Salem like a shroud. The park is quiet, too quiet. The wind rustles through the trees, carrying fragments of autumn leaves across the dim light of a single lamppost. Kat Green stands waiting. Her posture is calm, but her eyes betray the truth she already knows. Some goodbyes don't need words. You can feel them coming. When Chad DeMera appears, his face tells the story she's been dreading to hear. His steps are slow, hesitant, the steps of a man walking toward his own heartbreak. He tries to speak but stops, as if every word he might say could make the pain worse. Finally, he whispers, "It's Thomas. He asked me to end this." For a second, Kat doesn't breathe. Her lips part, but no sound comes. Then she exhales, a shaky, hollow laugh. "Of course he did," she says softly. "And you're going to listen." Chad's voice cracks under the weight of guilt. "He's just a kid, Kat. He's grieving." Her tone shifts, not angry, but aching. "And what about you, Chad? When do you stop grieving? When do you start living again?" The question hangs in the cold night air, unanswered, unanswerable. Chad's eyes glisten. "You and we were never supposed to happen," he admits. Kat takes a step closer, tears spilling freely now. "No," she whispers. "But we did. And for a moment, it felt real." Silence stretches between them, long, final, suffocating. "So that's it?" she finally says. "We just pretend none of this mattered?" Chad lowers his gaze. "It mattered more than you know." She nods, the heartbreak written in every trembling breath. "You always say that right before you walk away." And he does, without another word. Kat remains under the flickering streetlight, watching the man she loves disappear into the darkness. Her tears glint against the silver glow, a reflection of love lost not to betrayal, but to memory. Because in Salem, love doesn't die with anger. It fades in silence, and the silence always lingers longest. Midnight settles over Salem like a sigh. The chaos of the day has ended, but peace refuses to come. The city sleeps uneasily. Every light that flickers, every shadow that moves, feels haunted by regret. At the police station, J.J. Devereaux sits alone under the fluorescent lights. His badge lies on the desk, glinting like a reminder of everything he's lost faith in. He turns it over slowly, the metal cold against his palm. Am I still helping people, he murmurs to himself, or just fooling myself into thinking I am? Meanwhile, at the Horton home, Chad DiMera pours himself a drink he doesn't want. The whiskey burns on the way down, but not enough to drown out his son's words, or Kat's tears. He stares at a photo of Abigail, tracing the frame with trembling fingers. I'm trying, he whispers to the empty room. God, I'm still trying. And high above it all, in the endless quiet of the night sky, Holly's plane cuts through the clouds. Her reflection shimmers faintly in the window, eyes red, heart heavy, leaving behind a town that never stops breaking hearts. This is Salem at its most haunting, not loud, not explosive, but suffocatingly human. Each soul weighed down by choices they can't undo, each secret hanging like a storm waiting to break. Thursday's Days of Our Lives reminds us that the deepest tragedies aren't always in what's said, but in what's left behind and spoken. And that's Days of Our Lives, Thursday, October 9th, an episode that doesn't shout its heartbreak, but lets it echo quietly in every corner of Salem. A son's plea, a father's guilt, a love story silenced before it could heal. In this city of secrets, even doing the right thing can destroy what little peace remains. Will Chad's sacrifice truly heal his family, or just leave him alone with his ghosts? Can JJ find his way back before doubt consumes him completely? Tell me what you think, fans. Drop your theories below, hit that like button, and stay tuned. Because in Salem, the quietest nights always hide the loudest storms.